Hey everyone, welcome back to Catalyst Conversations. As wealth architects, we know that building true generational wealth requires a robust financial blueprint, but it also requires a social ecosystem. And yet, so many high earning professionals and entrepreneurs, they look at networking as a necessary evil. That's me, trapped really in a cycle of transactional interactions. And that just leaves us, me, feeling exhausted and just disconnected. So today, I'm so happy because we're going to be dismantling the myth of traditional networking. Joining me are Amanda Chatzikonstantinou and Triana Shaw, the visionary co-founders of the Atlas Connective. Amanda and Triana have designed an ecosystem that moves beyond that surface level business card desperation and into immersive roundtables and masterclasses. Partnering with major institutions like the University of Toronto, they help entrepreneurs replace that transactional thinking with deep, values driven collaboration. And that is right up my alley. We're diving into why the quality of your relationships determines the quality of your wealth, how to build an empire from a personal frustration, that pet peeve, it can actually build you something lucrative and profitable, and how to use your intuition as a metric for strategic growth. So, Amanda, Triana, welcome to the show.
Hello, hello,
Hi,
everybody. Thank you
everyone.
so much for having us. We're so excited to be here.
Yeah, you know what? I've been wanting to have this conversation for a while because I'm always the one to confess first. I cannot abide traditional networking. It just really sucks for me. And the longer I've been in business, the harder it's been for me to show up in these places and smile and represent my business well. I'm like, I don't want to be doing this right now. I can smell your desperation from the time you came through the door, and I just want to connect. I want to be in a space where people are there for people first,
Mhm.
um, and mutually beneficial interaction. So let's start with your frustrations kind of led you to create this. Why do you think traditional networking is failing the modern entrepreneur or business owner? What's happening that it's failing so catastrophically, especially now?
It's a big question. And I think that's what prompted us to create the Atlas Connective. One of the things that we realized just in our networking landscape is just that interactions feel very solicity. It seems like you're soliciting yourself all the time, and they don't necessarily go long term. There's not that long-term connection or friendship or collaboration aspect to networking. It feels very, okay, what can you do for me instead of what can I offer you? So part of kind of the reason why we started everything was that community aspect that was missing for entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
Entrepreneurs thrive in a community, and we felt like that wasn't being represented in the networking space.
Yeah, I totally agree. But then someone will challenge you and say, well, I'm not in business to make friends. I'm in business to make money. So where does that social structure, what role does community actually play in creating a profitable, successful business?
I think with, or I
No,
mean,
go ahead, Triana. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think in terms of a lot of entrepreneurs grow through collaboration. So it's in those meaningful conversations, in those meaningful connections that you're actually able to expand your business and grow, and people are willing to share resources and other connections with you as you get to know them. So you kind
Yeah.
of have to grow like your friendship or collaboration or wanting to invest in other people so they can invest in you.
Yeah, yeah. Amanda, I feel like you guys, like the both of you are sort of the epitome of this coming together, that kind of collaborative spirit, because the two of you came together to form the Atlas Connective, and you are having that kind of merger experience.
Yeah.
How's that going? How's that collaboration kind of being nurtured and in a way that's beneficial for both of you?
Great question. So I think it is really cool that the two of us have come together. And because we are all about making those connections and collaborating, and that's literally what we do as co-founders. And so it's really interesting for the two of us also because it's a new experience. Neither of us have had, co-founders in the past. So it really goes to show how working together and how collaboration can actually work in real time. Like we're seeing how we can sort of divide and conquer or, support each other in things, not only, as much as yes, we're in business, we're also humans too. So we have real
Yeah.
life and other things that are going on. And so being able to support each other on that side too, right? Like, even though, yeah, okay, I get it's business, but like we all need friends. We
Yes,
all need
yeah.
friends.
Yeah, I actually had this experience with, I guess I'll call her one of my mentors,
Mm.
and she shared that you have different friends that fulfill different roles.
Yes.
So the idea, I think sometimes when we're thinking of making friends in business, we're thinking of, oh, I have to tell this person like my secrets, become bosom buddies. But I don't think that's necessarily the case. How do you see friendship playing out in that networking corporate business ownership role? And how can it work in a way that's authentic, but still business within a business framework?
hmm That's a good question. I think when we're talking about friendships, we're talking about kind of this idea of entrepreneur friends.
Hmm.
And that's the part that some entrepreneurs say that are missing. How can you relate to either it's isolation or building out contracts or company culture? It's a different kind of conversation you're having as an entrepreneur. And you want other people that are like-minded like you and going through similar situations or challenges or even opportunities. It's a great way kind of to share a bunch of things and connect with other people that are similar. So that's kind of like a different take on friendship, but more on like the entrepreneur side of it. And maybe you're not necessarily talking about like drama or TV shows or those kind of things, but you're talking about a whole different side. And it's a great way too to go to other events and meet other people. And I think a lot of people that we found, even from our events, they're going to other events together too,
Hmm.
right?
Mhm.
They're
Yeah.
ending up, whether that even is like a karaoke night or something like that. It's entrepreneurs still want to have friendships to go and do things with, but also feel like they can relate to one another in that big element of their life.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
the relating, right? Like there's so many things as entrepreneurs that we experience that maybe others don't. Like I have other friends that they don't get it. And
They
I
just
love
can't.
them to death. Like they are my bestest friends, but they just don't understand the entrepreneurial journey. And so it's almost like that unspoken, those things you don't have to explain to your entrepreneur friends,
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
some friends are like, well, why can't you, come out and do this? And like, well, I have this, proposal that I'm working on. And so, but my entrepreneur friends are like, yeah, totally. Like, I get it. So I
Yeah.
think that's a big part of it too, right? Is having that those friendships, those unspoken things that we just understand as entrepreneurs. And I
Yeah.
joke that like I have, some friends or family that like they're sick of hearing my ideas and like what's the next big thing, But my entrepreneur friends are like, "Yeah, tell me more. I want to hear more." And they just get really excited and they can help to like inspire a new idea or really motivate me or hold space for like brainstorming and really, think tank like style conversations. It's a completely different conversation when you're
Yeah.
in a room of entrepreneurs because there is that like unspoken, we all kind of understand what it means to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they get how you can be like physically exhausted just from a day of creative thinking. Like you don't have
Right.
to get on the treadmill to
Yeah.
have complete exhaustion
Yeah.
because you spent your day immersively thinking through ideas, kiboshing some, moving some up to on the priority list. Just the act of ideating can be exhausting, and they don't get that. I also think that for me personally,
Mhm.
when I have that community around me, they help with my personal like resilience as a business owner. I don't know if
Mm.
you found that, but the times when like I'm just out, I got nothing else, I need a break, they hold space for me, but they also help me like, come on, you can do it.
Mhm.
Let's go one more round, or let's do it one more time, or let's try one more iteration. That mental support that I get from those like minds around me, it's worth so much in
Mhm.
keeping the business moving. So I really appreciate having that. And would you also say that there is a level of safety that is kind of built into finding the right people where you can explore ideas with your business, not competitors, people who are there just genuinely for each other? Would you say that you have experienced that safe space as well in those relationships?
I would
That's like
think so.
what we're
Yeah.
all about. That's literally, we're both like so excited. We're like, yes, yes.
Yeah, I think we've even heard comments like, I feel seen, I feel heard.
Yeah.
And that is just so reassuring for us because we want to create a safe space for people to share ideas or share how they're genuinely feeling. It's not just like, oh, I'm good, I'm okay. No, how
My
are you
business is like,
actually?
making
Yeah,
millions. Everything's amazing. Like all the T's are dotted, all the, like, or
I
sorry,
have the
no,
perfect
I's
group
are
of
dotted,
people
T's are
saying
crossed. But right, it's not about showing up perfectly polished. It's also in the messy, in the in between, in the, like you're saying, that genuine. Those are like some of our favorite words: genuine, authenticity. Like we get so excited about those things because
Yeah.
just
that's the
being
real.
real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And because other business people get that, we can let the guard down for the
yeah.
right connections, for the
Yes.
people where we actually find that alignment. And we'll
Mhm.
talk a little bit about alignment as well. But part of, I guess, your business model is moving away from the transactional exchanges.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see, or what are the limitations that you have found in the transactional approach to networking? Because I know for me, for example, I'm a wealth architect, and that came through my work in personal finance and financial literacy and all that jazz. Moving away from, that transactional approach to personal finance to a more innate, a more inside out approach to wealth. What are the limitations in your experience to sticking with that transactional approach to networking?
Mm.
Yeah, who wants
A
it? Think
juicy
about it.
question. I like it. I like it. I like it. You know,
I think there's quite a few limitations
yeah.
that we've noticed. I think one of them is what Amanda had said before, that perfectly polished. A lot, especially at traditional networking scenes, everyone's coming in saying, I got this, I'm the best at this. And no one's talking about the elephant in the room, which is, okay, what are some challenges you're actually going through? Is your
Mhm.
business actually to a point where you are proud of? I think a lot of people come in with like a facade, and we want
Mhm.
to break that mask, break that facade, and just be genuine. How
Mhm.
are you actually feeling? What's a limiting belief that's holding you back? And those
Mhm.
are kind of the conversations that we're having at our events.
Yeah, definitely. And then listen, I found in the transactional side of things, because I've done it that way as well. I thought that that's the way you were supposed to do it. But I find in the transactional side of things, you're never actually moving up. Like you're never building on something that you can actually move up. The transactional side of things is repeating the same thing every time and having to come back and start from zero. Oh, you haven't heard what I do. This is what I do, and I can do it great for you. You got to be with me. You got to, instead of saying, hey, what do you do? This is what I do. How can we support each other? And suddenly influence is multiplied as opposed to having to start back from zero. How do you get people to kind of subscribe to move away from that transactional thing and actually invest in maybe a longer game, moving into that relationship driven side of networking? How do you get people to actually say, let me take a chance on this? I might not make a sale today, but I might make 10 sales down the road.
I think
Mhm.
that's really in the environment that we create at our events. And that, like, right from the get-go, the moment you walk in, there's a completely different energy. Like, there's a different vibe to the overall event in and of itself. And
Mhm.
then as we go through, like, depending on which series, I guess, which event we're hosting at the time, but even through that, we're not just about, okay, now everyone, it's time to exchange business cards. We're really, even peeling back the layers and looking at the personal side. And we're
Mhm.
having people, do some reflection, do some personal development activities so we can start to see, oh, okay, maybe this is a little different. And they start to notice things about themselves and then opening up for that dialogue to happen. Not just about, oh, here, this is, I'm the best at this, take my card and, buy something from me. It's really about who am I as a person and how can I share that with the room?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So, what role does the vibe play? I mean, what
Oh,
role
a big
does
role.
It's everything.
We do a vibe check.
Yeah.
you do a vibe check? You know what? I'm laughing specifically because my daughter's like, I will get you to use vibe more often than you want to. And I'm like, okay, well, here we are. I'm going to be using the word vibe for a while through this conversation. But I feel like in addition to setting up a certain atmosphere in the space, I feel like in addition to that vibe, there's also an internal vibe that you kind of need to locate,
Mhm.
understand, and trust. What is the role of that personal intuition now in figuring out who is that person I'm connecting with, or who is that aligned individual? Where does instinct and gut response come into play with these interactions?
Well, I think intuition is probably the biggest thing, and also an underlining of like curiosity. So I think
Mhm.
people that are curious and willing to share different things and explore things about themselves, like have a little bit of introspection, but also curious about other people naturally. Those are the people that tend to be at our events and
Yeah.
wanting to explore different things or talk to different people. Um, and then intuition, I think especially in the networking scene, whoever you gravitate towards too, it's kind of like your intuition, your gut feeling bringing you to that person. And
Mhm.
maybe that goes to like energy or vibes, but whichever one resonates with you. And that's kind of the beauty of in-person events as
Yeah.
well.
I miss them, and yet because of my previous experiences with in person, I hesitate a lot. So your events, I haven't been able to get to one yet, but oh, it's just location and schedule conflict. But I feel like your events are intentional in
Yeah.
setting up that space for that collaboration, for that alignment, for that exploration of areas where we can collaborate and actually support one another genuinely and do that. But I'd love to kind of take a look at what mobilized you all. So many of the women that I work with, they're high achievers, but often get stuck in analysis paralysis. I think you wouldn't hate me if I say that you are both refining the Atlas Connective model. That's fair to say.
Mhm.
Okay. So what would you say to that woman who is kind of stuck in analyzing how to deploy perfectly, and help her move through deploying imperfectly. What would what would be your words of wisdom to that person?
I think we are the epitome of that. Like, even just in how we started, like, we literally we started with imperfect action. And this is coming from, like, I call myself a recovering perfectionist. So,
Oh
like,
yeah.
you're preaching to the choir here. I totally get that. And I think a big part of our journey, even as co founders, that was really what happened for us. Like in the beginning, we didn't even really have a business name. We didn't really start with
It
the
wasn't a
business
business.
it kind of found us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we were just taking the imperfect action, and there was things that were partnerships were showing up for us. We entered into a pitch competition and we won. Like just all of those things. Like when you take the imperfect action, you can't get too perfect without taking the imperfect action first, because the imperfect action is what helps you refine so you can get to the point of, okay, maybe I don't know if perfect is ever something that's entirely attainable, let's be real, but at the same time it's something that you can perfect. Let's say,
Yeah.
you can get better, you can improve, you can learn from your mistakes. But if you're just staying stuck in the perfection paralysis,
Hmm.
then nothing's really ever going to move forward, and you're not going to know, okay, well, this little tweak or that little thing. And I used to be like the perfect example of this, where like I'm like, oh well, everything has to be, every period, every, the logo and the website, that all of the things have to be perfect, perfect, perfect before I can even move forward.
Yeah.
And I've just grown so much from that place that I've really seen for myself, and then seeing other entrepreneurs in their journeys, that the the imperfect action is actually perfect. Like
Yes.
that's exactly where you need to be. If you're feeling called to take the next step, or if you have an idea, like just go for it. What's
Yeah.
the worst
Yeah.
that could happen, right? I think we just start thinking of all these like, oh my gosh, it's going to be the end of the world, and it really doesn't matter that much.
It's
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things, not so much. Triana, what's your kind of interaction or experience with imperfect action?
I think for just in our experience in general, is we didn't need a full plan. When Amanda and I started, it was just honestly an idea. We're like, okay, let's run an event. And it wasn't even called an event. I think it was a meetup. We're like, let's do a meetup. And we didn't have a full vision for what this could be. It was just, okay, let's do the meetup. Let's see how it goes. From there, it kind of grew traction. We're like, okay, let's do it next month. I'll see you there. And then from there, it kept on going on a monthly basis. And just to say what Amanda was talking about, that imperfect action, you don't necessarily need a vision for a long-term plan, but just the courage to take the next step.
Yeah.
And even with the pitch competition, that was something that we decided, oh, there's a pitch competition, let's sign up. Let's see what
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
happens.
mhm.
And I
Yeah.
think whenever there's opportunity, we just take action. And I think that's the most important part, is just constantly taking action, aligned action.
Yeah.
Um, Whatever resonates with you, and keep moving forward. And I think even right now, we're in a period where we feel like this pause is a great time for us to get more in alignment with the things that we want to create in the next year. So
Yeah.
even through a pause, it can be a beautiful alignment as well.
Oh, I'm all for the pause. Actually, I integrate seasons into my teaching and how I do my business. So I'm going to share a little bit about that, because one of the things that I struggled with, and I think I'll say I came to this maybe 4 years coming out of the pandemic, definitely, but especially maybe the last 2 or 3 years. Um, we are being called as business people to always be producing, to always be pushing the envelope, to always be everywhere all the time, doing all the things. And I don't remember what I was doing when it came to me because I teach the seasonality of our wealth journeys. You know, it's not every time you're going to be reaping. Sometimes you're going to be planting and sowing. And then I thought to myself, but wait, I have that experience of seasonality. I should have that in my business. Because one of the struggles I have is in the winter, I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to go nowhere. I don't want to put clothes on where I have more than one layer of fabric against my skin. I don't want to. But then I thought, well, couldn't the literal winter be my time of going inwards and thinking through, developing before all of my business planning for the next year used to take place in the summer. And I would go away. I'd spend 2, 3 days in a hotel just by myself with the whole bed full of paper and, scratching this. And I thought, well, that's kind of backwards. Why don't I use the winter when I'm naturally prone to staying in and go in, right?
Mhm.
So I switched that. In the winter now, I do a lot of my business planning not by the calendar year, but by the seasonality of my own systems. As a woman, I have come to appreciate cycles in my life. And I'm leaning into that. So I totally get the pause. I think the pause should be intentional. And I think the pause should be the place in the space where we give ourselves the time to go in, to ideate, to think, to review, to refresh, and to come out again as spring is springing, whatever time of year that is for your business, to now plant the seeds, nurture the seeds, start new things, try new things, and then see how they come out of the ground of your work. So enjoy the pause, girls.
Thank you. It's
It's
finding
going
that
to be
harmony,
great.
right, of the being versus the doing. And
Yes.
it's not always easy to get there, but once you start to figure it out and find out, what works for you, it things start to just work.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's, going slower to go fast. And
Yeah.
it's hard, I think, in just the typical, societal norms, let's say, like this, like, the hustle culture and all those things, like do, 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 do. And it's kind of this guilt that we have for slowing down or for just, taking the pause. And yeah, we're here to bust that myth too. So I'm glad that we're talking about that.
Busted.
Busted.
Yeah, busted, busted. Listen, we're gonna wrap up. I'm gonna ask two questions, but I want you to think through it. So, let's say we're at your event or maybe at any event, because I think if not your event, we still can take a collaborative community building approach to how we network as individuals at all
Mhm.
of these other, money, money, go, go, go networking events. We can bring something different to it. So, what is one non-transactional question that a business owner can ask instead of, so what do you do?
Mm.
What is one question we can ask in those spaces that really sets the tone for a non-transactional interaction with a new connection?
Oh, this is a good one. I like having so many thoughts, too many
There's so
questions. I'm like,
many
okay,
different
just pick
things.
one. Just pick one. And I think the first thing, no, there's too many. I'll just pick one. I think it's what is something that you're working on right now that lights you up or you're really passionate about or that
I
excites
love
you?
it. Yes, I love that. I love that. Triana, do you have one in
I
mind?
think for me, it's more of like the journey. I think a lot of people have a reason why they got started in their
Ooh.
business. So asking, what made you get started in what you're doing? Or how did you even get started in that? I think that's important. And I think a lot of people have a story behind their business.
Yeah, I love opening. I'm naturally curious. I really ask a lot of questions. My husband hates it. I am the curious sort, and the invitation to storytelling, I think, is a gift.
Hmm.
I honestly think it's a gift. Like, what's exciting? And I went to this event earlier this year where they taught us how to answer this question. So when someone asks you, what's exciting in your business, you don't just answer with a thing, but you answer with, this is exciting because dot, dot, dot.
Mm.
So if someone says, "Oh, so what's a challenge you faced in your business?" You can say, "This has been a challenge for me because dot, dot, dot." And now it's not just a generic, "Oh, I hate marketing. Marketing is a challenge for me." But now you can say, "You know what? I've been challenged by, that damn Facebook algorithm because it limits my access to my ideal client and I really want to reach her. I can help her." And that again, it's like that invitation to storytelling. I love it. You guys are like, this is alignment. This is, sometimes we think, well, they don't know my ideal client, or, they might not be in the same business as me, so we're not going to connect. But even this conversation that we're having right now is evidence of what alignment can look like and feel like,
Hmm.
because I'm here in my personal finance and wealth world. You're here in your, networking, creating community world. And yet we're finding those common threads that knit us together and tell us, well, we can play in the same sandbox. Why not?
Hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I just got like full body chills. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Mission accomplished.
So good. So good.
All right, my last question before I ask you to share your details. What is, and I'm very big on application. One of the reasons why I do what I do is because we can all Google, wealth strategies. We can all Google and research and find, but we need to apply. So here is the question for you, ladies. What is a suggestion for an imperfect action that our listeners can take today to start creating that aligned community? What's one thing they can do as they're listening to this podcast that would help them create the spaces, the atmosphere, the vibe that they need to grow as a business person, to grow their bottom line, to grow these collaborations? One imperfect action.
Hmm. I think it's just having genuine interest in someone. So whether that is offline or online, I should say on LinkedIn, reaching out to someone just to learn about what they do,
Mhm.
not trying to take anything um, for yourself in a sense or sell them on your services, but understand, okay, what is their journey? And maybe some things that you can take from the lessons that they're telling you. And even from going in person, it's being able to take that action. That would be like a first step. Show up to that event.
Show up.
Kind of. Okay,
Just
show
show
up.
up. Just show
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Okay, that tells me I need to prioritize your next event after the pause.
We'll see you there.
I went to an event yesterday. This is for a volunteer role that I do, so it wasn't about my business. And I literally said to like the coordinator, I'm like, to have the conversation with myself. Do I want to go to that thing? Like, do I really want to go? And then I'm glad I made the decision to go. It was
Mm.
so inspiring. It was so good. And back to that whole intuition and vibe, we kind of know the places and spaces where we want to be.
Oh, yeah.
And if we follow that, I think we'll land in some pretty awesome experiences. So that's my little 2 cents there. Amanda, what is one imperfect action we can take today?
I would probably say to actually go the coach like my life coaching background is coming in here and I'm like I think it would actually be like a bit of going inward also
Mm.
in looking at, okay, well, what are my values? What places and spaces do I like to be in? Or do I enjoy? Or that will really light me up and motivate me? Like, what types of people do I want to have in my community? Do I want to meet? What other entrepreneurs do I want to have in my network?
Yeah.
And not for, the, well, what, how can I sell them my services, but actually genuinely, what connections have you had that really aligned with your values? Because when you can understand your values, then you can make more deeper, more authentic connections with others.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I would say really understanding your more about who you are as a person so that your intuition is even stronger in being
Mhm.
aware of, oh, that aligns with my values. That's where I need to be. I need to, go there.
Yeah. So you can recognize it when it's right up in
Exactly.
your face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and honestly, there's so many things we miss because we don't know to look for it.
Right.
We haven't curated our own value systems or our
Mhm.
own wants and desires for ourselves.
Hmm.
So when it shows up, we're like, oh, yeah, another one. Like, no, it's not another one. It actually lines up perfectly. And that kind of intention, I think it actually creates these opportunities.
Mhm.
When we articulate, this is what I need,
Mhm.
the opportunities show up
Hmm.
to give you what that thing is that you ask for. And don't worry, it might sound woo-woo to you, but there's science behind that, creating our realities based on our thoughts and our desires and actually making that happen. So I love these answers. I'm sure there are lots more. So if you're listening and you're thinking, oh, there are other imperfect actions we can take, definitely put it in the chat, put it in the comments, wherever. And Triana and Amanda will definitely go to town with that and help them to help their participants, the attendees at their events, to experience these imperfect actions. Ladies, this has been great. I know there's so much more we can talk about.
Oh, we could
Uh,
talk for hours.
Yeah.
we can talk literally for hours. That would be a problem though, because we all have other work to do. But
Yes.
by all means, I'd love to continue this conversation and to have other people join the conversation. So, where can people find you to interact with your content, to get news of your events? How can we reach you on this massive interwebs? I like to call it interwebs, on all the interwebs.
Well, people can reach us at the Atlas Connective on our Instagram. We also have TikTok. And you can also reach us on our website. So the atlasconnective.com.
There you go. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I will invite everybody to kind of get on your newsletter list. If you all don't have a newsletter yet, you better get one, an email list or something so that they don't miss an opportunity because not everyone's on all the socials. And connect with these ladies on LinkedIn. They're on there, I know, because I connected with them. And my women are busy women, but I can promise that Amanda and Triana are delivering great value. So, ladies, thanks so much.
Thank you so
Thanks
much
so
for
much.
having us. This was so much fun.
Absolutely. And there's a part two in there somewhere, I bet.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, I can already see it. Amanda and Triana after the pause. Oh.
Oh,
Ooh, yes,
yes.
please sign us up. We're ready.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you so much for showing us that wealth and connection is never built in isolation. In reality, true legacy requires that architectural network that's built on alignment. It's built on trust. It's built on shared values. And to the woman who is listening that is tired of collecting business cards that just clutter your space, stop forcing yourself into these transactional rooms that just mess with your energy. It just kills the vibe, for real. Pay attention to what is feeling off and step into your power. Trust your intuition. Look for those spaces where you can actually bring your whole self to the table. So be sure to connect with Amanda and Triana and or follow their ecosystems on Instagram, be sure to join their next masterclass and or round table because I'm pretty sure, well, one, you might find me there as well, so we get to connect in person, but you'll also leave better than you came. And if you are ready to audit your internal alignment and move from that isolated high earner to a wealth architect that's deeply connected, please go to my website and take the Catalyst Index. It's hadrianaleo.com and look for those blind spots that's holding you back from a wealth experience that is aligned in your mindset and in your network. I'm Hadriana Leo. Your network is a reflection of your net worth. So architect it with intention. Until next time, take care, everyone.